Okay, here's the deal. If you're like most, you have hit a pandemic wall. You're over all of this quarantine and now it's winter and it's dismal out. And if you're in a job search on top of that, you're probably feeling pretty demoralized right now. Well, first off, no, you're not alone. A lot of people are experiencing this, and especially if you're in a job search that has been competitive or has been fraught with rejections or ghosting, this is a really tough time. So I want to pinpoint into this issue of emotions on this episode because I think it's so critical to your job search. And one of the things I can tell you as somebody who has hired and recruited is that these feelings, whether it's just feeling frustrated or angry or just demoralized, do come through in the interview and when you're networking. So if you're feeling this, in order for it to not negatively impact your job search efforts, there's a few things you can do. First off, you may just need to take a short break and regroup and step away from the job search for a little bit just to really process your feelings and come to terms with the fact that this is a really hard time. And I'm not saying, step away for months, but I am saying that it might be a helpful step to just take a few days, maybe talk to a good friend or family member or somebody in your religious community, just to really process those feelings, because those feelings will wait for you. They're not going to go away, and sometimes you just need to address them. Something else you might want to do, if there's a particular hot button for you, maybe you got laid off from your last job, and when that question comes up, you get really anxious and start to babble and get defensive, then address that question, come up with a neutral, brief answer, and practice it until you feel like it just rolls off your tongue without any emotion behind it. Because if you can get past that one question and it no longer bothers you, that can really boost your confidence for the rest of the interview. Other things you can do are to be careful about mindset, because sometimes we get really worked up. It's really hard to get a response these days when applying for jobs. And when you get that response, your mind already goes to the place of getting the job and getting the offer, and you really build it up in your head. And it's great to be excited about things, but when you do that, it's like a roller coaster. You get on a really big high just to be let down if it doesn't progress to a second interview or if it doesn't move to the offer stage. So when you get an interview, of course, be excited about it, prepare for it, but don't get so invested that you're already thinking about your commute and everything. So if it happens to not work out, that you're so devastated that here we go again. Something else you want to do is keep many irons in the fire. So even if something's working out, it seems to be going well, keep going, keep talking to your network, keep interviewing for other jobs until you get that final offer, because sometimes we get so focused on one and it's going really well, and should something happen, whether the company has a hiring freeze or something else, then we get very devastated all over again because we've stopped all the other aspects of our job search. So keep going, keep a lot of irons in the fire, and make sure that you're really invested in finding a job, not just pursuing one particular opportunity. And then lastly, assess if you might need some additional support. And this support can come in the form of therapists, places like Talkspace and other online systems can be really useful, because somebody can help you process. Maybe there's more going on to it than just the job, and it'll be helpful for you to talk to somebody who is experienced with these types of situations, just so that you can process what's happening, come up with a game plan, and have somebody who supports you in your next steps. This can be incredibly helpful. And I've seen many people benefit greatly. As a licensed psychologist myself, it's something that I believe in. So think about if that's something that may be helpful at this point. So those are my tips. If you're feeling really demoralized in your job search, know that it's a tough process. You're not alone. We're all exhausted mentally at this point, but you've got this. You've got this. And I am so excited because you will land on your feet and it's going to happen. So just hang in there.